The dark truth of Hollywood, a city once synonymous with dreams, glamour, and the promise of endless possibility, now whispers a far more unsettling narrative to those who dare to look beyond the glittering facade. For generations, this iconic landscape has beckoned millions, an irresistible siren song of starlight and aspiration. Yet, beneath the meticulously crafted illusion, a shadow stretches, growing longer with each passing day. Once it was paradise, a beacon of cinematic magic. Now, for the unsuspecting tourist, it often feels like a labyrinth of unseen dangers, a place where a dream vacation can swiftly unravel into an enduring nightmare. Why did this city collapse so fast, transforming from a symbol of hope to a crucible of risk?
We are about to pull back the velvet curtain on the pervasive daily risks that Hollywood's powerful public relations machine desperately wants to keep out of sight, revealing 11 stark realities that tourists keep encountering, experiences that could irrevocably alter your perception of Tinseltown forever. We all remember the golden age, don't we? The black and white photos, the classic films, the sense of an almost ethereal wonder that radiated from every studio lot and boulevard. Hollywood was more than a place. It was an ideal, a testament to human creativity and ambition, a destination where ordinary lives could be touched by extraordinary magic. Families would plan pilgrimages for years, saving every penny for a chance to walk the hallowed grounds, to breathe the same air as their heroes, believing they were stepping into a realm of pure, unadulterated enchantment. The air, they imagined, shimmered with stardust, and every corner held a story waiting to unfold.
This was the Hollywood of our collective memory. A symbol of American ingenuity and a global cultural touchstone, a place where the impossible felt within reach, where the very fabric of reality seemed a little brighter, a little more vivid, but something shifted. Slowly, subtly at first, then with an accelerating, undeniable force, the magic began to fray. The pursuit of dreams became entangled with a different kind of pursuit, unbridled greed. The soul of the dream factory, once nourished by artistry, started to be consumed by a relentless, insatiable hunger for profit, an obsession that began to chip away at the very foundations of its charm, and, more alarmingly, its safety. The pristine image, carefully cultivated through decades of public relations wizardry, began to crack under the weight of a changing moral landscape. We've all seen it happen in other once-beloved places, a slow erosion of values, a creeping tide of indifference that leaves behind a shell of what once was. Was this sacred ground still truly safe? Could the allure still outweigh the growing undercurrent of unease? The transformation was not sudden, but a gradual decay, a slow poison seeping into the very heart of the city, changing its essence from vibrant hope to something far more cynical and dangerous. Consider the tales that began to emerge, whispered at first, then shouted by those brave enough to challenge the narrative. These were not isolated incidents, but rather a disturbing pattern of experiences from everyday visitors, people just like you and me, who arrived with open hearts and left with unsettling stories. The data, when finally pieced together, paints a grim picture. Reports from local law enforcement, anecdotal accounts shared across online forums, and the quiet confessions of former residents all point to a significant uptick in incidents directly impacting tourists. From petty theft to elaborate scams, from aggressive panhandling to more sinister forms of exploitation, the spectrum of risk broadened dramatically. You might think, well, that's any big city, but what we're talking about here is different. This isn't just about urban grit. It's about a systematic vulnerability, a predatory environment that seems to specifically target those who arrive with stars in their eyes and wallets in their pockets, unprepared for the stark realities awaiting them. The illusion of safety, once so potent, has become a dangerous blindfold. Many have felt this too, that subtle shift in atmosphere, that prickle of unease that wasn't there before. Perhaps you remember a visit years ago, filled with innocent joy, and then returned recently, only to find a palpable tension, a sense of being constantly on guard. It's that feeling of disappointment, of a cherished memory being tarnished by a harsher present. This emotional echo resonates deeply within those who yearned for the old magic, only to find a hollowed-out version. The promises of yesteryear feel like a cruel joke in the face of today's challenges. But wait until you see what came next, how these seemingly minor incidents began to coalesce into a deeply troubling systemic problem that Hollywood can no longer afford to ignore, and how it directly impacts the 11 daily risks tourists now face. The once vibrant avenues, where dreams once walked freely, now often harbor a different kind of ambition, one far less innocent. This brings us to the first of the 11 daily risks tourists keep revealing, the pervasive and often aggressive world of predatory scams and relentless solicitations. We all remember the charming street performers of old, don't we? The genuine artists, the aspiring actors trying to catch a break, their energy adding to the city's unique charm. They were part of the tapestry, offering a spontaneous moment of joy or a glimpse into the creative struggle, a connection to the raw, artistic pulse of Hollywood. Tourists would engage, perhaps drop a few coins into a hat, feeling a shared sense of wonder and contributing to the vibrant street life. It was an unspoken contract of mutual respect, a simple exchange for a moment of entertainment, a memory made. This was the magic of spontaneous encounters, a feeling of being truly immersed in a creative hub. But that era has faded, replaced by something far more cynical. Now, the bustling sidewalks, particularly around iconic landmarks like the Walk of Fame, are overrun by individuals whose motives are starkly different. These aren't always the struggling artists of yesteryear. They are often calculated opportunists, sometimes even organized groups, masquerading as beloved characters or offering free merchandise. The rupture is palpable. The genuine desire to entertain has morphed into an aggressive compulsion to extract, to pressure, to coerce. The simple joy of a photo opportunity can swiftly devolve into a confrontational demand for exorbitant payment, leaving visitors feeling shaken and exploited. The very essence of an authentic encounter, once a cornerstone of the Hollywood experience, has been twisted into a carefully constructed trap designed to separate tourists from their money. This isn't just about a few dollars. It's about the erosion of trust, the shattering of an expectation. Consider the overwhelming data. Reports from the Los Angeles Police Department, alongside countless testimonies flooding travel review sites and online forums, consistently highlight an alarming rise in complaints related to these aggressive solicitations. One popular online travel community documented over 300 distinct incidents in the past year alone, detailing how visitors were cornered, verbally harassed, and even physically intimidated into paying for unwanted CDs, autographs, or photos with characters demanding $20, $30, or even $50 for a single snapshot. These aren't isolated anecdotes, they are systemic patterns. Local business owners themselves have expressed frustration, noting a significant decline in foot traffic from tourists who simply want to avoid the constant barrage. The proof is in the consistent, disheartening experiences of everyday people who came seeking a dream only to find themselves ensnared in a subtle yet effective financial ambush. Many of us have felt this too, that uncomfortable pressure to give, to pay, to simply escape an awkward situation. You arrive with an open heart, ready to embrace the spectacle, to create joyful memories.
You want to believe in the magic, to have that genuine interaction with someone embodying the spirit of Hollywood. It's human nature to trust, especially when on vacation, when our guard is naturally lowered. But then comes the moment of realization. The character isn't friendly. The free CD comes with a demand. The smile turns into a scowl if you don't comply. That feeling of excitement, that desire to connect, is instantly soured, replaced by a bitter taste of disappointment and a sense of having been taken advantage of. This isn't merely about losing a few dollars. It's about losing a piece of the dream, having a cherished memory tarnished by a harsh reality. You felt that internal conflict, that moment where innocence collides with calculated deceit. But the financial exploitation extends far beyond the streets, seeping into the very services tourists rely upon, often through deceptive practices that appear legitimate on the surface. These are not always the obvious scams. Sometimes they are hidden in plain sight, woven into the fabric of the tourist industry itself. But wait until you hear about the next layer of deception, one that targets your pockets in ways you might never expect, transforming routine expenses into unforeseen financial burdens, eroding your trust in the very establishments designed to serve you. This insidious form of predation often disguises itself as convenience, a small print detail, or an unavoidable charge. Yet its cumulative effect can be devastating to a traveler's budget and overall experience. It's a subtle form of exploitation that many tourists don't even realize is happening until long after they've left, leaving them with a lingering sense of betrayal. The city, once known for its grand gestures, now specializes in hidden fees and unexpected charges, creating a constant drip of financial drain that slowly but surely empties the pockets of the unwary visitor. This isn't just about losing some spare change to a street performer. It's about a systemic issue that impacts your entire trip budget. What if the very hotel you booked, the car you rented, or the tour you eagerly anticipated held hidden traps designed to extract more from you than you ever agreed to? Once, booking a trip to Hollywood was a straightforward affair, a simple transaction based on clear, upfront pricing. We all remember the days when a hotel room rate included everything, when a car rental quote was the final figure, and a tour package delivered exactly what it promised, without any unpleasant surprises. There was a sense of trust, an implicit contract between the service provider and the eager traveler. You planned your budget with confidence, knowing that the price displayed was the price you would pay, allowing you to fully immerse yourself in the anticipation of your dream vacation without the gnawing worry of unforeseen expenses. This was the era of transparent value, where the magic of Hollywood extended even to the honesty of its commerce, building a foundation of reliability and goodwill with visitors from every corner of the globe. But that era, much like the genuine street artists, has largely vanished. Today, the pursuit of profit has led to a more insidious form of financial extraction, the proliferation of hidden fees and deceptive surcharges that permeate almost every aspect of the tourist experience. The rupture is stark. What was once a clear exchange has become a labyrinth of fine print and unexpected add-ons. Hotels now routinely tack on resort fees or amenity fees that can add tens, even hundreds of dollars to your stay, often for services you neither want nor use. Car rental companies present an initial low rate only to ambush you with mandatory insurance packages, fuel surcharges, or administrative fees upon arrival. Tour operators might advertise an attractive base price, only for you to discover that optional but practically essential elements like entrance tickets or guide gratuities are added at exorbitant rates. This isn't just shrewd business, it's a calculated strategy to lure you in with false pretenses, then nickel and dime you into paying far more than you ever intended, chipping away at your budget and your goodwill. The evidence of this widespread practice is overwhelming. Consumer advocacy groups consistently rank hidden fees among the top complaints from travelers. A recent study by a prominent travel watchdog organization revealed that resort fees alone added an average of 25% to the advertised cost of a hotel room in popular tourist destinations, with Hollywood being a prime offender. Online forums are rife with stories of visitors who arrived expecting to pay one price, only to leave with a bill 50 or even 100% higher due to these concealed charges. One traveler recounted how a 3-day car rental, advertised at $90, ballooned to over $200 after mandatory insurance and an airport facility charge were applied. These aren't isolated incidents. They represent a systemic erosion of honest business practices, a testament to the insatiable greed that now defines many facets of the city's tourism industry. The proof lies in the consistent, frustrating financial ambushes faced by millions.
You felt this too, haven't you? That sinking feeling in your stomach when the final bill is presented and it's significantly higher than what you mentally prepared for. That moment of frustration, perhaps even anger, as you realize you've been subtly yet effectively exploited. You arrived ready to enjoy, ready to spend your hard-earned money on experiences, only to find yourself navigating a minefield of unexpected costs. It's that bitter taste of betrayal, knowing that the trust you placed in these establishments was systematically undermined for the sake of a few extra dollars. This isn't just about the financial impact. It's about the emotional toll, the way it sours your entire perception of a place that once promised only joy. You desire transparency, fairness, and a feeling of being valued as a customer, not merely as a target for opportunistic extraction. But the dangers in Hollywood extend far beyond the realm of financial exploitation, moving into areas that threaten your personal safety and peace of mind in more direct and unsettling ways. What if the very spaces designed for public enjoyment, for relaxation and casual strolls, have become breeding grounds for something far more sinister? What if the vibrant street life, once a source of charm, now harbors a darker undercurrent? One that can turn an innocent walk into a harrowing encounter. But wait until you discover how easily a simple moment of distraction can lead to a profound sense of violation. A stark reminder that in this city, vigilance is not merely a suggestion, but an absolute necessity. Exposing the third daily risk tourists consistently reveal, one that strikes at the heart of their personal security. This insidious shift transforms the very landscape of the city, turning what should be welcoming public spaces into zones of heightened anxiety and potential danger for the unwary visitor. Once, the very idea of strolling through Hollywood's iconic public spaces felt like an invitation to discovery, a chance to soak in the atmosphere without a second thought. We all remember the carefree images, don't we? Families picnicking in Griffith Park. Couples holding hands along the Walk of Fame, tourists openly admiring the architectural marvels, their cameras hanging loosely around their necks. There was an unspoken trust in the air, a sense of community even amidst the bustling crowds. You could lose yourself in the moment, gaze up at the Hollywood sign, or simply people watch, feeling a comforting security that allowed for genuine enjoyment. The city's public areas were extensions of its welcoming spirit, places where dreams could be quietly pondered and memories freely forged, without the constant gnawing worry of external threats. It was a time when the beauty of the surroundings was matched by the peace of mind of those who explored them, a truly immersive and unburdened experience of the dream factory. But today, that idyllic picture has been shattered by the unsettling rise of opportunistic crime, particularly targeting the distracted and the unwary. The rupture is stark. Public spaces, once symbols of freedom and open exploration, have become hunting grounds for pickpockets, bag snatchers, and thieves specializing in distraction tactics. The very act of taking a photograph, consulting a map, or simply admiring a landmark can instantly mark you as a vulnerable target. What was once a simple act of enjoyment now carries an inherent risk, transforming moments of wonder into potential opportunities for theft. The vibrant street life, far from being a purely charming spectacle, now conceals a predatory underbelly, where a momentary lapse in vigilance can lead to devastating loss of valuables, identity documents, or even the peace of mind that defines a truly relaxing vacation. This isn't about isolated incidents. It's about a pervasive atmosphere where your personal belongings are constantly at risk, overshadowing the joy of discovery with wearying alertness. The statistics paint a sobering picture. Data from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department and the LAPD reveal a consistent pattern of increased reports of petty theft, particularly in high-traffic tourist areas. Online travel forums and social media groups are flooded with first-hand accounts. Stories of phones being snatched from hands while taking selfies, wallets disappearing from backpacks in crowded queues, and bags vanishing from cafe tables in the blink of an eye. One widely shared incident involved a family on the Walk of Fame who had their camera bags stolen while posing for a group photo, the thief melting into the crowd before they even realized what had happened. Another tourist recounted losing their passport and all their cash to a pickpocket on a crowded bus, turning their final days into a bureaucratic nightmare. These aren't just isolated anecdotes. They are irrefutable evidence of a systemic problem, proving that the illusion of safety in public spaces is a dangerous mirage, leaving countless visitors vulnerable to swift, often untraceable acts of theft. Many of us have felt that sudden lurch in our gut, that cold dread that washes over you when you realize something precious is gone. You felt that invasive feeling of violation, the anger mixed with helplessness, knowing that a stranger has deliberately targeted you, invaded your personal space, and taken something you worked hard for. It's not just the monetary loss, it's the sense of being exposed, of having your trust in a public environment utterly shattered. You come to Hollywood seeking inspiration and escape, only to find yourself constantly on guard, scrutinizing every stranger, clutching your belongings tighter. That feeling of vulnerability, of having your vacation memories tainted by a moment of stark, harsh reality, is an emotional burden that lingers long after you've left the city. You desire to explore freely, to be open to the magic, but this insidious threat forces you to build walls, to remain perpetually vigilant. But the challenges to personal safety in Hollywood extend beyond mere theft, venturing into more direct and potentially confrontational encounters that can leave visitors not just financially poorer, but emotionally shaken and physically threatened. What if the very act of navigating the city, moving from one iconic spot to another, exposes you to interactions far more intimidating than a simple pickpocket? What if the vibrant energy of the streets can quickly morph into an atmosphere of aggressive confrontation, where a wrong turn or an unexpected encounter can escalate into a genuine threat to your well-being? But wait until you discover how easily the pursuit of celebrity sightings or a casual evening stroll can lead to unsettling confrontations with individuals whose intentions are far from benign, revealing the fourth daily risk tourists consistently face, one that forces a terrifying recalculation of what constitutes safe in the heart of the dream factory. This isn't just about losing your wallet, it's about losing your sense of security and facing genuine fear in a place that promised only enchantment. Once, the streets of Hollywood buzzed with an energy that felt exciting, yet safe. We all remember images of eager fans gathering, hoping for a glimpse of a star, or simply enjoying the lively atmosphere. Interactions with locals, even those struggling, felt largely benign. Perhaps a quick conversation, a shared moment of human connection. There was a respect for personal space, a sense that while the city was vibrant and unpredictable, it was also generally welcoming, a place where you could walk freely, absorbing the unique pulse of Tinseltown without constantly looking over your shoulder. The public thoroughfares were avenues of shared experience, not zones of potential conflict. A place where curiosity was rewarded, not punished, a true embodiment of the city's open spirit. But that sense of easy camaraderie has been replaced by a pervasive undercurrent of tension, a stark rupture in the city's social contract. Now, navigating Hollywood sidewalks often means bracing for aggressive encounters, far more unsettling than a simple request for money. Tourists frequently report being subjected to intense verbal harassment, intimidation, and even threats, particularly in areas around major attractions. These aren't isolated incidents. They are increasingly common interactions with individuals who seem to operate with a chilling sense of entitlement or desperation, their aggression fueled by various factors, making a casual stroll a potentially harrowing experience. The vibrant street life, once a source of charm, has transformed into a gauntlet of unpredictable and often hostile interactions, where a simple refusal can escalate into a frightening confrontation, leaving visitors shaken and genuinely fearful for their safety. The magic has been replaced by a palpable sense of unease, a constant need for vigilance. The evidence of this escalating problem is undeniable. Reports to local authorities detail a rise in public disturbance calls involving tourists, often stemming from aggressive panhandling or unsolicited, confrontational interactions. Social media platforms and travel review sites are overflowing with first-hand accounts. One tourist described being followed for several blocks by a group demanding money, only for the situation to de-escalate when they ducked into a crowded store. Another recounted a terrifying incident where a verbal altercation with an agitated individual near the Hollywood sign nearly turned physical, leaving them profoundly traumatized. Local business owners speak of a noticeable increase in tourists avoiding certain areas after dark, or even during the day, due to the palpable threat of aggressive behavior. These aren't just isolated anecdotes. They are a collective testament to a city where the line between vibrant and volatile has become dangerously blurred, where the dream of a safe visit is frequently shattered by stark reality. You've felt that knot in your stomach, haven't you? That instinctual urge to cross the street, to avoid eye contact, to quicken your pace when you sense an uncomfortable energy approaching? It's that feeling of your personal space being invaded, your desire for peace being challenged, and your sense of security eroding with each aggressive word or intimidating gesture. You come to Hollywood seeking wonder, perhaps even a touch of glamour, only to find yourself navigating a landscape of human struggle and confrontation, forcing you to be on high alert rather than simply enjoying the sights. That emotional weight, the constant low-level anxiety, can quickly overshadow any potential joy, leaving you with memories not of magic, but of unease and a lingering sense of vulnerability. You desire to be open, to experience the city authentically, but these aggressive encounters force you to close off, to protect yourself, turning a potential adventure into a stressful ordeal. But what if the very infrastructure designed to move you safely through this city, the roads and public transport, present their own hidden and equally dangerous challenges? What if the journey between destinations holds risks that tourists rarely anticipate, turning a simple commute into a perilous undertaking? But wait until you discover how navigating Hollywood's urban sprawl, whether on foot or by public transit, exposes visitors to the fifth daily risk, a surprising array of pedestrian hazards and public transport vulnerabilities that can turn a seemingly routine trip into a moment of genuine peril, proving that even the most basic acts of movement demand extraordinary caution in this city of illusions. Once, getting around Hollywood felt relatively straightforward, a seamless part of the urban experience. We all remember the bustling buses and metro lines seen as efficient ways to explore, or the wide sidewalks that invited leisurely strolls, connecting iconic landmarks. There was an expectation of reasonable safety, of well-maintained infrastructure, and a sense that public transport was a reliable and accessible option for everyone, including tourists. Pedestrian zones felt designed for exploration, for soaking in the atmosphere, for simply enjoying the act of moving through the city, without the constant worry of uneven pavement, distracted drivers, or poorly lit areas. It was a time when the city's design seemed to prioritize the ease and security of its inhabitants and visitors alike, a harmonious blend of urban planning and visitor comfort. Today, that sense of ease has been severely compromised, replaced by a growing awareness of significant hazards for both pedestrians and public transport users. The rupture is clear. Hollywood's infrastructure, once a point of pride, now often feels neglected and, at times, outright dangerous. Pedestrians face a gauntlet of challenges: poorly maintained sidewalks with treacherous cracks and uneven surfaces, dimly lit crosswalks, and a constant threat from distracted drivers who seem to disregard basic traffic laws. Public transportation, far from being a safe haven, has seen an alarming increase in incidents, from petty crime to more serious assaults, alongside issues of overcrowding and inadequate security. What was once a convenient way to travel has become a source of anxiety, forcing tourists to reconsider every step, every ride, and every corner, transforming routine movement into a calculated risk, a stark contrast to the carefree exploration of yesteryear. The magic of effortless travel has been replaced by the grind of precarious navigation. The statistics supporting these dangers are sobering. Data from the Los Angeles Department of Transportation and local law enforcement agencies reveal a disturbing trend of pedestrian accidents and incidents on public transit. One report highlighted a 40% increase in pedestrian-involved collisions in certain tourist-heavy districts over the past 5 years, often attributed to inadequate lighting, poorly marked crossings, and aggressive driving. Public transport authorities have documented a rise in crime reports on buses and metro lines, ranging from theft to harassment, leading to calls for increased security measures that have yet to be fully implemented. Online travel forums frequently feature warnings about specific bus routes or metro stations to avoid, with visitors sharing stories of feeling unsafe or witnessing unsettling behavior. These aren't just isolated events. They are systemic indicators of a city struggling to maintain basic safety standards for those traversing its public spaces, proving that the dream of safe passage is often shattered by the harsh realities of urban decay and neglect. You felt that momentary panic, haven't you? That heart-stopping second when a car speeds through a crosswalk you thought was safe, or that uncomfortable feeling of being trapped on a crowded bus with an unsettling atmosphere. It's that frustration of navigating crumbling sidewalks, constantly watching your step to avoid a fall, or the anxiety of waiting alone at a bus stop in a less-than-ideal neighborhood. You came expecting efficient, safe movement, a chance to explore without worry, only to find yourself constantly on guard, forced to make split-second decisions about your physical safety. That emotional toll, the constant vigilance required just to get from point A to point B, drains the joy from exploration, replacing it with a wearying sense of vulnerability and a desire to simply stay put. You desire freedom of movement, to experience the city's breadth, but these hazards confine you, making every journey a potential ordeal. But the threats to a tourist's well-being in Hollywood extend beyond physical confrontation and logistical dangers, seeping into the very air they breathe and the environment they inhabit. What if the glamorous facade hides a more insidious, invisible danger, one that tourists often overlook until it's too late, impacting their health and overall experience in ways they never anticipated? But wait until you discover how Hollywood's relentless pursuit of its image has inadvertently created the sixth daily risk, one that directly impacts the health and comfort of unsuspecting visitors, exposing them to environmental hazards that are far from the pristine image the city projects, transforming what should be a healthy getaway into a potential health concern. Once, the very air of Hollywood felt crisp with possibility, a testament to the famed California sunshine and a climate that promised endless blue skies. Once, the very air of Hollywood felt crisp with possibility, a testament to the famed California sunshine and a climate that promised endless blue skies. We all remember images of pristine beaches and clear mountain views, a sense of natural beauty that complemented the man-made glamour. There was an unspoken assumption that this was a place of vitality, where the golden light of the sun blessed every day, contributing to a feeling of well-being and invigoration for all who visited. The natural environment was seen as an extension of the dream, a healthy backdrop to the vibrant energy of the city, a truly invigorating experience. Today, that wholesome image has been significantly tarnished by a growing array of environmental hazards that directly impact tourists. The rupture is stark. What was once perceived as a pristine environment now often feels compromised. Visitors frequently contend with poor air quality, particularly during smog alerts or wildfire seasons, turning scenic views into hazy, lung-irritating landscapes. Noise pollution from relentless traffic and urban construction is constant, eroding the sense of peace and making restful sleep difficult. Furthermore, visible urban decay in certain areas, from overflowing public bins to neglected green spaces, creates an unsettling contrast to the glossy brochures, transforming what should be a healthy getaway into a potential health concern. The magic of a clean, vibrant environment has been replaced by the grind of environmental stressors. The data confirms these unsettling realities. Reports from the Environmental Protection Agency consistently highlight periods of unhealthy air quality in the Los Angeles basin, advising sensitive groups to limit outdoor activity. Local health authorities have noted an increase in respiratory complaints during peak pollution events. Public works departments grapple with the visible signs of urban blight, and community forums are filled with residents and tourists alike complaining about pervasive noise and general uncleanliness. These aren't just minor inconveniences. They are systemic indicators of a city struggling to maintain a healthy environment for its inhabitants and visitors, proving that the dream of a pristine setting is often shattered by the harsh realities of urban neglect and pollution. You've felt this too, haven't you? That dry cough that develops after a day of sightseeing, or the constant hum of traffic that permeates your hotel room, making it impossible to relax. It's that feeling of wanting to breathe deeply, to enjoy the open air, only to find it heavy and irritating. You came expecting the famed California sunshine to be invigorating, only to find yourself confined indoors or constantly aware of the environmental toll. That emotional weight, the discomfort and frustration of a compromised environment subtly undermines the joy of your visit, leaving you with memories not of fresh air, but of a persistent, nagging discomfort. You desire to feel healthy and unburdened, but these environmental realities force you to be on guard, to limit your exposure, turning a potential wellness retreat into a battle against unseen forces. But the illusion of perfection extends even to the very stories they tell you, often disguising the seventh daily risk, the pervasive issue of misleading information and overhyped attractions. Once, the allure of Hollywood was built on genuine stories, on the undeniable talent and groundbreaking achievements of its artists. We all remember the documentaries that revealed the true magic behind the scenes, the authentic narratives that drew us in. There was a sense that what was advertised, whether a studio tour or a celebrity home map, offered a genuine glimpse into the dream factory, promising an experience that delivered on its word, providing an honest connection to the city's storied past and vibrant present. You believed the hype because it felt earned, a testament to the city's unique cultural impact, a true reflection of its legendary status. Today, that trust has been eroded by a relentless pursuit of profit through exaggeration and outright deception. The rupture is stark. What was once an honest promise has often become a carefully constructed mirage. Tourists are frequently lured by tours promising exclusive celebrity sightings that never materialize, maps to stars' homes that are outdated or simply fake, and attractions that are grossly overhyped, delivering a fraction of the promised experience. The glossy brochures and online advertisements often bear little resemblance to the disappointing reality, leaving visitors feeling cheated and disillusioned. This isn't just about creative marketing. It's about a systematic pattern of misleading information designed to extract maximum profit from unsuspecting tourists, transforming genuine curiosity into bitter disappointment. The evidence of these deceptive practices is abundant. Travel review sites are replete with scathing critiques of tours promising much and delivering little, with countless visitors detailing their frustration over unfulfilled promises. Consumer protection agencies have received numerous complaints regarding misleading advertisements for attractions and experiences. One widely cited incident involved a Hollywood Legends tour that spent more time in traffic than at any actual landmark, offering only a fleeting glimpse of a distant gate supposedly belonging to a star. These aren't just isolated complaints. They are irrefutable proof of a systemic problem, demonstrating that the dream of an authentic Hollywood experience is often shattered by the harsh realities of commercial exploitation and deliberate misrepresentation. You felt that letdown, haven't you? That gut-wrenching realization that what you paid for, what you eagerly anticipated, was nothing more than smoke and mirrors. But yet, the sheer volume of people can itself be a danger, leading us to the eighth daily risk, the overwhelming challenges of overcrowding and the resulting lack of an authentic experience. Once, Hollywood's streets and attractions, while popular, still retained a sense of space, allowing for genuine exploration and connection with the city's unique charm. We all remember images of visitors enjoying the Walk of Fame without being shoulder to shoulder, or finding a quiet moment to reflect at a historic landmark. There was a balance, a feeling that you could immerse yourself in the atmosphere, perhaps even stumble upon a hidden gem, experiencing the city's soul without being crushed by the sheer weight of humanity. The magic was accessible, personal, and allowed for individual discovery. Today, that sense of intimacy has been utterly consumed by an unprecedented influx of visitors, leading to suffocating overcrowding and a profound loss of authenticity. The rupture is stark. What was once a vibrant hub has become a congested bottleneck. Iconic landmarks are often impassable seas of humanity, making it impossible to truly appreciate their significance. Lines for popular attractions stretch for hours, eating away at precious vacation time. The constant commercialization, driven by the sheer volume of tourists, has replaced unique local businesses with generic souvenir shops and chain restaurants, stripping the city of its distinct character. The result is a superficial, often frustrating experience, where the quest for an authentic connection is lost amidst the clamor and the crowds, transforming a unique cultural journey into a tedious exercise in crowd management. The data emphatically supports this observation. Annual tourism statistics reveal record-breaking visitor numbers, placing immense strain on infrastructure and public spaces. Local business owners consistently lament the loss of neighborhood feel, citing the displacement of long-standing establishments by tourist traps. Online reviews are saturated with complaints about overwhelming crowds, long waits, and the feeling of being herded from one commercialized spot to another. One family recounted spending an entire day trying to navigate the Walk of Fame, only to leave exhausted and disappointed, having seen little beyond the backs of other tourists' heads. These aren't just isolated anecdotes. They are systemic indicators of a city struggling to cope with its own population, proving that the dream of an intimate, authentic Hollywood experience is often shattered by the harsh realities of over-tourism. You've felt that suffocating feeling, haven't you? That sense of being just one face in an endless, anonymous crowd, yearning for a moment of genuine connection, but finding only commercial noise. And sometimes, even nature itself turns against the dream, leading us to the ninth daily risk, the unpredictable and extreme weather patterns now afflicting the region. Once, the California climate was legendary for its mild, predictable sunshine, a comforting constant in the Hollywood dream. We all remember the idyllic images of perpetually sunny days, warm breezes, and a general sense of climatic perfection that made outdoor activities a joy year-round. There was an implicit promise of pleasant weather, allowing visitors to plan their excursions with confidence, knowing they would be greeted by the iconic golden light that defined the region, a truly reliable and welcoming environment. Today, that predictability has vanished, replaced by increasingly volatile and extreme weather events. The rupture is stark. What was once a gentle climate has become a source of genuine peril. Tourists now face scorching heat waves that can quickly lead to heat stroke and dehydration. Unexpected torrential downpours that cause flash flooding and disrupt travel plans, and the ever-present threat of wildfires, which blanket the city in smoke and ash, often forcing evacuations and closures. These aren't just minor inconveniences. They are serious threats to health and safety, transforming a planned sunny getaway into a potentially dangerous and uncomfortable ordeal, a stark contrast to the reliable warmth of yesteryear. The scientific data and emergency reports confirm this alarming trend. Climate change studies consistently point to an increase in the frequency and intensity of extreme weather events in California. Emergency services regularly issue warnings for heat advisories, flood alerts, and wildfire evacuations that directly impact tourist areas. Online forums are filled with stories of visitors caught unprepared. One family recounted their entire trip being derailed by unexpected heavy rains, while another described a terrifying evacuation from their hotel due to a nearby wildfire. These aren't just isolated incidents, they are irrefutable evidence of a systemic shift, proving that the dream of a consistently pleasant Hollywood climate is often shattered by the harsh realities of an unpredictable and increasingly dangerous natural environment. You've felt that sudden shift, haven't you?
That feeling of being caught off guard, unprepared for a sudden downpour or an oppressive heat wave, realizing that even the weather itself can betray the promise of the dream. But even when you try to escape, new dangers lurk in the digital shadows, exposing the 10th daily risk, the pervasive threat of digital security vulnerabilities. Once, travel was largely an analog affair, with maps, guidebooks, and cash, and a simpler sense of privacy. We all remember the days when your personal information felt secure, confined to paper records or direct trusted transactions. The concept of digital theft was remote, a concern for distant, abstract realms, not the immediate, tangible experience of a vacation. There was a sense of inherent safety in physical interaction, a belief that your personal data was largely insulated from unseen threats, allowing for unburdened communication and transactions. Today, that sense of digital innocence has been irrevocably shattered by the omnipresent dangers of the online world. The rupture is stark. What was once a realm of convenience has become a minefield of potential threats. Tourists, reliant on public Wi-Fi for navigation and communication, unwittingly expose their personal data to malicious actors. Unsecured booking sites, phishing scams disguised as travel deals, and even compromised payment terminals can lead to identity theft, financial fraud, and a profound sense of violation. The very tools designed to enhance your trip, from online reservations to social media sharing, can become conduits for exploitation, transforming digital convenience into a source of constant anxiety and potential loss. The evidence of these digital dangers is overwhelming. Cybersecurity reports consistently highlight the prevalence of data breaches targeting travel industry platforms and the vulnerability of public networks.
Law enforcement agencies report a steady increase in identity theft cases linked to travel. Online forums are rife with stories of tourists whose credit card details were stolen after using hotel Wi-Fi or whose personal information was compromised through fraudulent booking websites. One traveler recounted discovering their bank account had been drained days after returning home, tracing the breach back to an unsecured Wi-Fi connection used during their Hollywood visit. These aren't just isolated incidents. They are systemic indicators of a city, and indeed a world, where digital vigilance is no longer an option, but a critical necessity, proving that the dream of seamless, secure digital interaction is often shattered by the harsh realities of cybercrime. You've felt that chill, haven't you? That unsettling thought that your personal information, your financial security, could be compromised with a single click, turning the convenience of technology into a source of pervasive fear. And finally, the most profound risk of all, one that strikes at the very heart of the Hollywood dream, the 11th daily risk, emotional disillusionment. Once, Hollywood was the undisputed capital of dreams, a place where aspirations were born and legends were made, filling visitors with an almost sacred sense of hope and wonder. We all remember the powerful narratives, the iconic imagery that promised a world of glamour, success, and endless possibility. There was a collective belief that this city held a unique magic, capable of inspiring the soul and enriching the spirit. A destination that resonated with the deepest human desires for beauty, achievement, and escape, offering a psychological uplift that transcended mere sightseeing. Today, that profound wellspring of hope has often run dry, replaced by the crushing weight of reality, culminating in profound emotional disillusionment.
The rupture is stark. What was once a source of boundless inspiration has become a crucible of bitter disappointment. Tourists arrive with hearts full of expectation, only to find the glittering facade hides not just physical dangers and financial traps, but also a pervasive sense of grime, cynicism, and a stark disconnect from the magic they envisioned. The relentless commercialism, the aggressive street culture, the visible struggles, and the constant awareness of being targeted for exploitation all chip away at the initial joy, leaving behind a hollow ache, a feeling of having been sold a beautiful lie. This isn't about losing money or possessions. It's about losing a piece of your own cherished idealism, suffering a psychological blow that can taint the memory of an entire trip, transforming a dream vacation into a lasting emotional wound. The countless testimonies and psychological impact studies underscore this pervasive emotional toll.
Travel forums are overflowing with accounts of visitors expressing deep sadness, anger, and a sense of betrayal after their Hollywood experience failed to meet their idealized expectations. Psychologists specializing in travel and tourism note a significant increase in reports of post-vacation blues directly linked to the stark contrast between advertised glamour and grim reality. One traveler eloquently described feeling robbed not of my wallet, but of my sense of wonder, a sentiment echoed by thousands who found their dreams shattered against the unforgiving backdrop of Tinseltown's true face. These aren't just isolated feelings. They are irrefutable evidence of a systemic emotional cost, proving that the dream of an inspiring, magical Hollywood experience is often shattered by the harsh realities of its true, unvarnished nature. You've felt that deep ache, haven't you? That profound sense of loss when a cherished vision crumbles, leaving behind a void where magic once promised to reside, turning a pilgrimage into a lament. Empty tables, empty streets, empty dreams. The Hollywood we once knew, the one that whispered promises of starlight and wonder, has faded, leaving behind a landscape scarred by greed and shadowed by disillusionment. The magic, once so potent, has receded, replaced by a relentless grind, a cold calculation that prioritizes profit over people, illusion over integrity. We've seen the facade crumble, piece by painful piece, revealing a truth far darker than any silver screen villain could conjure. This isn't just about a city losing its way. It's about the erosion of a cultural ideal, a symbol of aspiration becoming a cautionary tale. Maybe there's still hope for truth, for a return to the values that once made this place truly shine. Picture a city glowing, not from glitz and artificial lights, but from genuine stories, from the authentic human spirit that wants to find its very essence. We saw the facade crumble, piece by painful piece, but we also remember the brilliance that once was. It's time we remember what Hollywood was meant to be and demand better, not just for ourselves, but for the enduring legacy of dreams it once represented. If you felt this change too, share your story in the comments. And if you found this eye-opening, subscribe. The next story might reveal where everyone's going next.